push the mute.
Alright guys, another video from the White Shorts Club. We got Myth, you got Kaichou over there, and
Yo.
we decided to do some deck profiles, just mix it up with our content. We saw a comment a while back saying, can you guys show us a deck profile for how to do 8 shots? So, you know
This
what?
is not the exact one, but it's an option.
It's an option. I think this is a more fun list, in my opinion. It's got a little more fun stuff to mess around with, but standard 8 shots. So let's start off with our level 0. So, start off, we got 2 of the archer runners. So, on attack, she can return 2 characters from your waiting room back to your deck, and then she gets a soul for it. So, you can throw in more triggers, or you can throw in non-triggers for quote-unquote precise damage, but let's be realistic. You're probably shoving triggers in, so prepare to overswing like no one's business.
Yeah. People play this in Sao. It's a good card, just because you can, Plus 1 soul is always nice if you want that 2 soul beat at level 3,
She's also a free runner, so she's kind of your primary level 1 option or level 0 option when you're going first. She's not bad. Being on attack is a little weird of a time, but be like that sometimes. Next up, we got 2 of the Archer Brainstormers. So her effect is that if you trigger specifically the shot where you see all the friends together, you can salvage either the level 3 Dwarf or the level 3 Lizard, which we'll talk about when we get to them. They all climax combo with the same shot anyways, but she helps you get your pieces if you happen to trigger this shot. And then she has pay 1, tap 2, brainstorm. You reveal 6 cards, but you only get it for 1 shot. So no, you do not get and it's a salvage brainstorm. So if you reveal 6 shots, you don't get a salvage 6. You only get a salvage 1.
You cry a little bit when you review 6, dude.
It's the greatest scam, but also the greatest meme in the world. Sometimes you'll just get it on the 6th one and be like, I wouldn't have done that with Brainstorm 4. But
Or 5.
Precisely 6. Good numbers. Next up. So this is where we have a little bit of difference in kind of the other lists comparatively. So I play a few of the other colors. So starting off, we have a few of the red Rizes. So alarm effect for this guy is that at the start of climax play, you get to look at the top 2 cards of your deck and put them back in that order, so you get to see the future. Pretty good effect. But he also has the when this card gets reversed, you can look at up to top 3 cards of your deck, add a character with order, but yeah, add it to your hand and then pitch a card. So your early game filter options. It's a good red card, decently stats. 2K is better than 1.5. And the alarm effect is actually pretty useful when you're playing with some of the other tech choice cards at level 0, which we'll get into, but still a good card. Very good card. Even if you don't play it with Priestess, I think there's a reason to still run like 2 or 3 in every deck. Kaichou.
Good hand filter, and just mill for your deck, because sometimes, because your brainstorm is a tap 2 anyways, so you won't get a lot of mill.
Yeah. Alright, so this is where we go completely off the rails. So we run a little more blue than most people would expect in an 8 shots build, but starting off, we have the Guild Girl. That's a rare. So on play, you mill 2, and if you hit a climax, you can give a character 1500 power, which more free mill gets you out of your deck real quick, makes your brainstorm 6s into brainstorm 8s potentially. But another effect that she has, which is pretty cool, if her damage is canceled, you can draw pitch. So this is why using her in combination with like the Rize is pretty cool. A pretty cool combination. So you can look at the top card, and then you know how much damage you're going to be swinging for, so you can swing with the Guild Girl, and then you also know what you're drawing as a result, so you never know. Plus, it helps you get to your shots during attack phase, which no one expects. They'll never see it coming, dude. Especially if you trigger a shot on them, so then it's like, you trigger their shots and then they cancel. So then they have to take the cancel burn. But then you also draw pitch. But then you also you triggered this shot, so then your brainstorm goes off. So it's like you plus 2'd, and you made them take damage anyways. Insane.
3 hand filter.
Yeah. Round out our blues, we have a few cards from the TD. So, first one to talk about is the Guild Girl Brainstormer. So, she's your ordinary TD tap self brainstorm draw. Brainstorm 4. It's a pretty standard brainstorm for every TD. I like her for the utility of being able to brainstorm and being able to potentially draw my shots out of it. And I also like her because of her second effect, which is at the start of climax phase, you can give a character the effect when this card direct attacks, top check, and then if it's a character, you can add pitch. It builds really well off of the Guild Girl. It also builds well off of the Goblin Slayer Rise, like being able to direct, like swing into an open lane and know exactly that that's the card that you're gonna add pitch. So, you get a little bit of extra hand filter, a little bit more information. You never know. It's always good to have information early game. And then the last level 0 is your standard drop searcher. Pay 1, pitch 1, search for a character, and then she has the when she's placed. You can top check and put the card either at the top or the bottom. So basically your entire level 0 is dedicated to like finding out what you're doing during that turn. Where you like I guess an ideal turn would be like you clock the Rise, and then you can play like a Guild Girl, or you can drop search for a Guild Girl, and then you could put the Guild Girl, and if you have the Brainstormer in the back, you give it to a character who can swing into a direct lane after you find out, and you find out what order you attack in, basically. Profit.
Yeah, you can also stack your soul triggers at the bottom.
Yeah, exactly.
Big cards. Yeah, a lot of utility. Being able to like, you might just check like 2 soul triggers and then swing with the old man first, so you can mill the soul triggers.
Yeah, but it's not bad. We run a pretty low level 0 count because we do need high soul trigger ratios for our climax combo. So overall we have 4, 8,
15.
Yeah, 15 level 0s. So standard amount for most decks is like that 14 to 18 area. So it's on the lower end, but moving on to our level 1s. So our main level 1 climax combo is the level 1 archer combo. Combos with the shot. Her other effect, before we talk about the climax combo, your opponent can only use one event, or all players can only use one event with the same name per turn. So, AOT? What are you going to do with that second maneuver gear, buddy?
Do Torch?
Torch? What are you going to do?
Christmas costume?
Christmas costume, toilet? Bun?
True.
Or not buns.
Well,
Hey, you never know, dude. But, you just lock them out of, especially a lot of the meta decks. Like we said, AOT, Bang Dream, Goblin Slayer itself.
Like, they triple combos. They have, like, triple event in their hands. They're like, yeah. It's pretty bad if you have breaks in your hand.
But her climax combo with the shot is on reverse. You can mill 3 cards from the top of your deck, and then you salvage X amount of cards from your waiting room and add them to your hand. X is equal to the number of soul triggers that you milled. So
cards with soul triggers.
Yeah, cards with soul triggers.
Yeah.
Gotta be specific with that in case any of you people try to whip out the stock souls or the double soul triggers It does not mean you get 2. You only get 1, Chief. That's what we saw a lot with some of the standby decks where they were playing the Witch, like, Stock Soul combo for blind stock or whatever. They were like, oh, we can get 4 cards off of this Archer combo. Nah.
Imagine stopping 6.
Let me go reload my hand real quick. But yeah. Unfortunately, because she doesn't have any, like, power behind her, she's 5k and then 6k with the climax. She's a little bit smaller and easier to defend, but hopefully with that event demerit that she grants to all players, the idea is that you kind of get mitigate what you can, and then you just pray that you don't run into like a 2k backup or like a 2-5 backup. But it's also a really good level 1 combo.
You really only need one of her to go off. If you're like high rolling, you get like 3 soul triggers, you just salvage 3 anyways. That's fine.
Like, I mean, it looks cool if you manage to get 9, but like you realistically don't need to. Ideally, you get like at level 1, if you get 2 of the Archer combo to go off, ideally you're looking for like 3 or 4 cards salvaged with the climax combo, and then you just kind of call it a day with that. But yeah, it's not bad. I think that if it weren't for the fact that the Goblin Slayer combo is a little bit more consistent and a little bit better, I feel like this might be probably the primary option for Goblin Slayer level 1s. I guess you could play Standby too, actually. One of the two. Yeah. Rounding out our level 1s though, we run 2 copies of the Dwarf and 2 copies of the Lizard. So, talking about the Dwarf, so he's on play, give another character 1500. So...
Give a character. You can give it to yourself.
Yeah, give anyone 1500. So this is kind of your other way of giving your Archer power, or giving pretty much anyone else power. But his second effect is, if he triggers a shot on his attack, you're allowed to salvage anything. So your shots become gates. It's pretty good. Gives you a little extra salvage utility, so that's why you're not too worried about the Brainstorm only being able to hit 1, because if you trigger a shot, you can potentially get 2 cards out of it if you trigger the friend shot. But, we've been talking about triggering shots to get pluses. So you're probably wondering, so how do we get those shots out without brainstorming? It's a good question, audience. That's what this Lizard Priest is for. So when another character attacks, he gets 1500, so you attack with him last is kind of the idea. He's 3-5, so if he attacks as a third character, he becomes 6-5, and then 7-5 with the climax. But he has, on attack, you can pay 1 to trigger Trek twice. So the idea is that when you trigger a climax, you then swing with the priest, the lizard guy, pay out the shot, and then put in potentially 2 more clean cards into the deck. So
or 2 more shots.
2 more shots. Come on, bro.
That's when you just, cry a little bit, but it's okay.
You cry a little bit, but that means you get a salvage 2 if you trigger 2 of the friend shots.
Just pay 3 encore.
Pay 3 encore. As long as Heathcliff doesn't exist.
Bro.
But But those are all of our non-trigger cards right here. So we have 15 level 0s and then 8 level 1s. So that's 23. So it's quite literally a 50-50. Little more in our favor. 20 with little more soul triggers. So ideally we hit at least 2 whenever we mill 3 from the Archer combo. Looking at our level 2 lines, we have 2 different cards for level 2. So talking about them, we have the 2-1 Archer. She has a climax combo that we don't play because it's on a wind, and winds aren't shots, so we don't care. But her other effect is that she's an anti-early play stock bomb, so here you go. get rid of that yo real quick, only to realize that there are 3 other yos ready for you every
Yeah, you
time.
could probably have more copies as you want, since it's a troll trigger and it's like it has good utility.
Yeah. But
yeah.
The reason why I don't run more, as Kaichou said, is because I like running this 2-1 counter, the Gilgirl counter. So it's basically a Leafa counter, 2-5, 2-5 counter for 2-1, and then when you use it, top check, if it's a character, you can add pitch. Leafa may be a fake counter, but it is a soul trigger, so it does kind of increase your mileage a little bit with utility, just being able to get out of that deck real quick, being able to pay out maybe that extra shot that you triggered on your last attack. You never know. Good way
to... shot in your hand.
Gotta get rid of these shots real quick, dude. You know. Rounding it out, we have our level 3s. So, first up, pretty simple. We run 4 Musashis, the archers. She has the ability that on play you can pay 2 to bounce a character on the opponent's board. So in case
level 3 or lower, by the way.
Level 3 or lower?
Yeah, plus 1 level to level 3s means you can't hit them.
But that's when you stock bomb
them. True. You can't bounce Armin either, though, so.
Yeah, but she also has the standard Musashi effect on the turn she's played. If damage is cancelled on her attack, mill the top card, burn equal to level +1. It's a good, not climax combo finisher. You never know when it'll come in handy. But what you usually are trying to do is you're trying to get as many of these guys as possible into your hand. So these are the lizard and the dwarf that you can salvage, assuming that you have the brainstormer in the back row and you trigger this shot. You quite literally are saving up pieces so that way you can go for infinite. So we'll talk about it. So primarily you want to be grabbing as many of the lizards as possible, although you will want a copy or 2 of the dwarf handy if you need to for clocking purposes and stuff. So the lizard is on play heal, and then his ability is when you play the shot climax, you can bring out a dwarf from the waiting room. Pretty simple. The dwarf is when he's played, either from your hand or by the effect of the lizard, you can draw 2 pitch 1. And then his climax combo is on attack, you pay 4, you mill the top 5 cards of your deck, and then for every soul trigger, or every card with a soul trigger, yeah, we gotta be specific about that, I keep forgetting.
Balanced.
You can burn 1, so you can burn 1 5 times. You also get 3,000 power, so he becomes a potential 14k swinger.
But not 15,000 plus power, you know.
But, you know, this is kind of your finisher. The idea is that you bring out 2 lizards to heal 2, and then you use their effect to bring out 2 dwarves, most likely by sacking the one lizard. And then if you can pull double combo off, that's pretty good. Otherwise, pulling off single combo is pretty threatening on its own. Usually, you're expecting to hit, like, burn 1, like, 3 times and that's usually enough to actually, like, put opponents in kill range a fair amount of the time, because being able to ping out climaxes individually rather than being, like, all in one lump sum is pretty useful. So, I really like this combo. For that reason. Just the fact that it's instances of 1. The only problem is that you'll run into, like, kimono friends or something who's like, you can't burn 1 on me, chief, and I'm gonna be like,
kimono friends in English or mega low.
It's gonna happen, dude. Somehow. Trust me. It's gonna happen, and we're all gonna be like, Myth predicted this.
Time to play some grind games, I guess.
Yeah. But rounding out our level 3s, we have 3 red top end. So our only early play, level 3, is this cowgirl. So early play, if you have 2 or less climaxes in your waiting room, On play, you can look at X being equal to the number of characters, so usually look 5 ideally. And then on attack, you can give another? Yeah, one of your other characters.
For other.
Yeah, it's one of your other characters. Power equal to the number of other characters. So you give another character Ellie clone, basically. Potentially on attack pump 2k on a full board. It's pretty useful in case you really need to get over that like wall with your like lizard or with your Musashi, or if you're playing this early and you still have archers in the on play, you could use this to help make it into a 8k swinger at level 1. You never know. Next up, we have one witch. She's 2k to level 3s. Or no, 2k is to all characters in front of her. Huh, okay. And she also has damage scry, so during your opponent's turn, if you take damage, you can look at the top card, and then you either put it back on the top or at the bottom. It's pretty good. And then you run into some dude like Kaichou who plays like Mocha, and you're just like, do I get rid of this for him, or should I let him get rid of it?
Damage scry is a meme, dude, but it's okay. Level 3, though? Not a bad card.
Yeah.
But 3/6 is a meme.
The 2k is also a little bit useful for helping you get over that little extra oomph, considering almost none of the level 3s have like power on their own. But last level 3 we talk about here is the TD Goblin Slayer. So this guy has your opponent can't play backups or events.
Just backups.
Oh, just backups? Huh. So what you're telling me is if I have
a good card.
No. So what you're telling me is if I have this combo set up where I have the Archer level 1 and then the 3/2 Goblin Slayer, I could really make someone feel really conflicted about what they want to do.
They gotta choose.
They don't have a choice, dude. But yeah, so he's 10k, 11k with a climax, where your opponent has to either have an event backup to get out of it or they have to accept it. But he also has on reverse, pay 3 to burn 2. Pretty standard finisher, non-climax combos finisher.
Small damage is good damage.
Like, the entire idea of this deck is that you're kind of nickel and diming your opponent for small instances of damage at a time. But you also have the potential to swing like 4s and 5s on them, and if they take those, hopefully you have a shot trigger behind that, so then they feel really bad about it. But yeah, that's my variation of the 8 shots deck. It's not a bad deck. I think that 8 shots is definitely a little more unpredictable than like the meta gate pants list or the 8 gates list or the standby gate list. Mainly because Shot's a little more of a snowball-y kind of deck. Like, Kaichou, you've played a little bit against both. What do you think of 8 shots compared to meta build?
I think they each have like their own perks you want to play. Like shots are good in like different scenarios, and like it's good like since you're able to do like small amounts of damage. But like level 1, you're not that big, but it makes up for it that you don't need to tri-lane or copper to get a plus. So it's like they're both good.
Like, I will say though, considering how expensive Meta Goblin Slayer is, if you're looking for a cheaper alternative, 8 shots isn't a bad one. Considering that your most expensive cards are probably going to be like the Musashi, which I think are like 8s or something, and then the level 1 combo is pretty cheap, and you don't really have anything that's like super expensive in terms of like getting base rarity cards. You're not like Goblin Slayer where you have to whip out $25 for a PR or $25 for your level 1.
Yeah, like 35 or something. Yeah.
Oh, is he? Oh, but yeah, you know,
it's pretty expensive.
If you wanted to just play 8 shots, it's not a bad list to pick up. But yeah, that'll do it for this deck profile. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys.
See ya.